that I would have done very early in life was get a mentor. So I didn't
Wow.
officially have any mentor. So I walked this journey practically on my own. And I believe that whatever achievements I have today will probably have been double, quadruple
Okay.
of what I had. If I put something, I call them the three C's, that I wish I
Okay.
had those three C's: a critic, a coach, and a champion. And all
Wow.
of that can be resident in one person, or it can be in three different persons. So my notes to my younger self would have been, I wish I had my three C's, someone to be my critic, to criticize me, positively, or, genuinely. Kumbi, how can you do that kind of thing? You will let me know, will word me very well. It also which I had a coach, somebody to hold my hand and say, no, this is how you go about it. In
And then
football and
thirdly,
in
I
sports,
wish I
what had a champion. So that when I do something, somebody, my hype man, that will hype me so that it will encourage me to do
Yeah.
better. Forward to. Right.
So you have mentored and inspired many young leaders. I'm reading from here, my second point,
Yes. Okay.
through JCI. What are the qualities
Mm.
that attract you in young people? You just mentioned a bit now, but I want you to go deeper. And what are the qualities that repel you from there? What are the things you see and you feel, oh, no, 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 I can't associate with this person? I'm talking about young people now. And what are the things
Yeah.
that draw you closer to them?
Yeah. So the first thing is, like, when I see young people, I see them like a plain canvas that have things that can be painted on. And even if it's just one stroke of a colored paint that I would put on that canvas, I like to do that. And what would attract me to any young person is the sincerity of purpose to say, look, I mean, being open to say, this is what I want to do. I just want you to, support me or let me know what you can contribute to making me a better person. I like people who are very hardworking. I'm a Jackie. I can work
I can see
24/7.
that.
I tell you, I wonder where I get the energy. I don't know. So I also like
Wow.
people who are very, very hardworking because hard work pays. It might not be in the immediate, but hard work pays. So what attracts me to people who are sincere, who are hardworking, who don't tell lies, and who, are like ready to learn, ready to absorb, and willing to be corrected. If you are not willing to be corrected, you can't be with me, because I will say it in plain words. If I see things you've done that are not okay, I will let you know. If you are not willing to take corrections, then I'm not going to be able to, work with you. So these are some of the things that, attracts me to people. Those things that repel, if you are not truthful, if you are lazy and not willing to pull your weight, if you are looking for shortcuts, microwave, pa pa pa, I mean, there's no way we can work together. So those are the things that attracts, and those are the things that repel me.
Thank you so much. You made that very simple and direct. So the next question I will ask is, with your vast, experience across multiple sectors, what's the one project or legacy you still hope to achieve in the next 5 years? Or should let me open it up in the next 10 years? Something that is dear to your heart that you just wish, this thing, I still have to pursue this thing. No matter what my age is, I have to accomplish it.
Okay. I've actually started my legacy project, and I started it when I turned 50, because I
Wow.
wanted to be able to have 10 years to build it, because by 60 I want to have retired and have things in auto. And so what I started, what I call the Women on a Mission initiative, and it has to do with young undergraduate, female undergraduates. Right now, I have about 6 regional coordinators according to the geopolitical zones, and I have a national coordinator. We've had 4 outings till date, where we meet. We have regular hangouts monthly, and we have close to about, I'd say about 3,000 young women subscribed to that
Wow.
now.
Awesome.
I'm hoping that I'm going to start doing road shows where I'm going to go physically to the regions and have the women come in. We've had meetings in Lagos, in Ilorin, in Abuja, in Abeokuta. We're going to have a meet in Akure come this year. And the whole essence is just to ensure that, you know, when they're still in their undergraduate days, the few things, just like I said, plain canvas, support, and everything. Some people
Yeah.
are studying courses, not necessarily what they want to study. They say, "What jam gave
Yeah.
me?" You know. So how can you help them plan their lives? You know, whether
Yeah.
you want to go into business, whether you want to build a career, this issue of you know, how not to get
Mm.
into aristo or whatever you call it now, being able to manage your finances, watching out for what their health is, ensuring they have good mentors. So those are some of the
Mm.
things that we do. Last year, the theme of our conference or our meet was being unapologetically hard. Just be unapologetically
Wow.
yourself. Don't make any excuse for who you are. There's a reason
Mm.
why you are. So how can you ensure that this person you are
Yeah.
can only get better, you know, drop off the negatives and all of that. So that's been my legacy project. And I'm hoping that by the
Awesome.
time I turn 60, I would have had
Okay.
60,000, you know, young women in this group across not only Nigeria but Africa, you know, being beneficiaries. And they will now be women holding and lifting women because you can't do it alone. So, one of the things I said that I would love to be written, and my children know this, on my tombstone when I die is she died empty. I want to be able to
Mm.
pour everything out of myself into
Wow.
others so that they Kunbi Pro Max, you know, they must be a better version of me. And
I love
so,
that.
in doing Women on a Mission, this is what I want to do: pour as much of, in fact, virtually all of myself into others, replicate myself in others, but as they're replicating, they are even a better version of me. That is my legacy.
Mm.
So that by the time I'm 60, they are the ones, it's on autopilot. They are the ones that are running this, you know, not me. They're running it,
Mm.
whatever support I can give, and it's there. Let it live beyond me. That
Yeah.
really is it. So I've already started
Wow.
that process, and I'm hoping one of the spin-offs of it is things like a microfinance back for women who are in business, a
Wow.
TVET school, and we already have a location. We are going through accreditation. TVET school for women. So you have women plumbers,
For
women
women.
electricians, women who are doing vocational things. And
Yeah.
we already have some, you know, we're looking at where they can do their internship or externship,
Mm.
whichever way. So
Yeah.
yes, so these are my legacy projects that I already have started, and I'm hoping that by the time I'm 60, the TVET school is there, the microfinance, female microfinance back is there, the undergrad program has already
Yeah.
started. Yeah. So
Yeah.
that is what I'm looking forward to, you know, as I move
Wow.
towards gradually 60.
Awesome. 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 So you mentioned women, women, women. So is there anything for men?
Yes. So
Because
I
I
actually
am
do have a
interested. I
project.
love this project. I love this.
So maybe I should also have thrown that in as my legacy project. So it's called Don't Leave Boys Behind. And I started this about almost 10 years ago. It's called the Don't Leave Boys Behind Initiative. And what I've just done is I partnered with different organizations where this time around is in secondary school, where you have male mentors, you know, men speak to young boys in secondary school. And it's gotten particularly bad because now we have a scourge of drugs, you know,
Yeah.
in not only in secondary school or university, it's calmed down. So when they have male mentors, one of the things we found out when I did my initial research is that women have mentors. You know, you have
Yeah.
women lifting women, women program, but we don't have
Yeah.
boys. And
We
thankfully,
do.
I've seen that a few other women too, or a few other people have started this. There's
Yeah.
a group in Ibadan that is an all-male group that we partnered with. So I've done this project in Ibadan. I've done it in Lagos. I'm looking forward to doing it in other parts of the country where men will speak to young boys
Yeah.
and tell them there's some things that as a woman, I cannot say or I don't feel, but you know, men will. And so yes, I do have the Don't Leave the Boys Behind initiative for young
Wow.
boys, and I've had a few young men come out of that now. And so it's what I want them to also champion, that I will also continue to support. Yeah. So two different organizations, Women on a Mission Initiative, Don't Leave Boys Behind
Mm,
Initiative. And
awesome.
the 10th anniversary for those Don't Leave Boys Behind Initiative will be next year. And yeah, so there we are.
Okay, thank you so much. Thank you so much for mentioning that. So the reason why I asked is that I have seen a gap in the transition between secondary school and university. So it's obvious that not everybody might gain admission immediately from secondary school to university. So the gap I've seen is that the guys that are left behind that they didn't get admission is that they start drugs, they start Yahoo, they start having bad gangs. So I started something I think few years back where we help them harness their energy because they have a lot of energy. So
Yeah.
into learning skills like instead of doing Yahoo, they could start doing digital marketing, social media. So they convert that attention that they would have given to other things into something productive, such that when they now enter the university, they will not even have to rely on their parents for money because their skills can pay for their bills. So I've seen that gap, but it's something I started, but resources and limitation in my reach and resource, so that's limited. So that was why I asked the question, which initiative you
And
started is a very huge, can speak to that.
yeah. And there's room for collaboration, which is one of the things I was also going to say. You don't have to walk the journey alone. I mean, it's not about Kumbi Wuraola. It's not about being my name being out there. It's about the beneficiaries. So yes, there's a need for us to collaborate more because you can get more mileage when you collaborate. Just like the Bible, if you allow me to say that, say one will chase 1,000 and then two will chase 10,000. Yeah. So the power of collaboration is very critical. Yeah.
Okay, so this discussion is getting serious. So if you could go back in time, let's spice it up. If you could go back in time and give advice to your younger self when you were just starting your career, what would you say? Or let me put it this way: would you give yourself thumb up? Because I'll give you thumb up. Would you not? What were the things you'll have not to correct?
Interesting. So I have one big sister who wrote a book titled
Okay.
My Note to My Younger Self. I haven't read that
Oh
book,
wow.
deliberately so, because I want to write my own note to my younger self before I read that book.
Okay.
And so yes, so definitely in some areas I'll give myself thumbs up. In other areas, I have not fared well. And the reason is because I think that maybe I dropped the ball. Not maybe, I did drop the ball. And one of the things that I would have done very early in life was to get a mentor. So I didn't
Wow.
officially have any mentor. So I walked this journey practically on my own. And I believe that whatever achievements I have today will probably have been double, quadruple
Okay.
of what I have if I had a mentor. And I discovered something, I call them the three C's, that I wish I
Okay.
had those three C's: a critic, a coach, and a champion. And all
Wow.
of that can be resident in one person or it can be in three different persons. So my notes to my younger self would have been, I wish I had my three C's, someone to be my critic, to criticize me, positively or, genuinely. Kumbi, why, how can you do that kind of thing? You will let me know, will word me very well. If possible, I can go to my closet and cry. I wish I had that
Right.
kind of critic. Because when you cry, when somebody gives you words, what can be painful more than spanking, physical beating. The words will hit home, and then you will now sit back and reflect. So I wish I had a critic. I also wish I had a coach, somebody to hold my hand and say, No, this is how you go about it. In football or in sports, when you have a coach, the way a coach will coach you and say, this is how you
Yeah.
do this is how you
Yeah.
speak, this is how you walk,
Mm.
this is how you dress,
Yeah.
this is how you pronounce the words. I wish I
Yeah.
had a coach. And then thirdly, I wish I had a champion. So that when I do
Mm.
something, somebody, my hype man, that will hype me so that it will encourage me to do
Yeah.
better. Yes.
Yeah.
So those were some of the things that I wish I read more so that I can have
Mm.
versatility in other areas. For example, I don't know about football, I don't know about sports. I don't know what an offside is. I
Ah, oh
don't
my God.
know. Yeah, so I don't know anything about football. Fortunately, unfortunately, my husband is not a football person. So when they are doing
Oh
Champions
my.
League, you will not see anything in my house. My son says, "Oh, football." When I ask him, he says Liverpool. It's just recently I know that red and white is their color. I don't know. I know they say all
Oh
bonnets,
my.
all so I don't have any clue about football.
Wow.
So that's some of the things I wish I had more knowledge about. Yes, I am well read a little bit about the history of Nigeria, about history of the
Okay.
world, Cold War. My daughter has a degree in international relations. So when she's talking Russia this, Ukraine that, so I wish that I got into real world politics, that I'm
Mm.
better read about that. So those two things for me are sore points, that I wish a better me in the past, got into all of that and understood, all of those things a bit more. And
Yeah.
lastly, my a note to myself in the future would to be to say not to be a jack of all trades. Yes. So at some point in time, I did stock markets. At some point in
Okay.
time, yeah, so a bit of it financial literacy. I did trading, Ivory Coast, Abidjan. I got into Ankara business very early. I got
Oh,
into broadcasting when I was in school. So I was doing a program on NTA. I moved on
mm.
to AIT, Radio Lagos, and all of that. So I did broadcasting. I worked in what you call the advertising agencies. So I knew about
Okay.
media, I knew about client services and all of that. So I did a bit of this and that, this and that, which is good, but the
Yeah.
master of it. Yes. So for me, a note to my younger self would have been to have got into and mastered something early in life. Yes, people know me for JCI, people know me for my work in the non-profit and in recent
Yeah.
years in education. I think in the last 20 years, education, but I wish maybe I had had my focus, my mastering of a particular um, vocation or something earlier in life. So, yes, so those were the three things I would say are notes
Oh,
to my.
awesome. So as you were speaking, I was just thinking around, okay, you did advertising, you did media, you did broadcasting. How come you never really leveraged on social media? Was that intentional or was it just something that missed you or you missed it?
No, so I'd say I got burnt, right?
Oh,
And so that made me shy. So even though it was mainstream media then, I had a program called Blossom. So I had Blossom on radio, Blossom on TV, and Blossom in the papers. And in one of my TV presentations way back then, I did an expose on a so-called 419 kingpin then.
oh,
And I had a threat to my life. And so that
wow.
made me, quickly run back inside and say, I beg, I know they do it again.
Let me hide.
Yeah, let me hide. And I think it now spilled over to even when social media started. So I also tried a bit, and I was something like that, a hangout on Twitter, I think about 5 years ago. And I became vocal, and then Twitter banned me. So right now I'm not on Twitter. So I'm like, look, first time, second time, I beg, let me day by
Enough.
day, let them do their day. So, but I have some semblance of presence. Yeah, I'm on Facebook, not so active. I'm on IG. I'm on TikTok, but you never see me post anything. I'm on YouTube. I don't have a channel. So yeah, so I see the things happening, but I'm not as like somebody say I'm not an influencer. I see what other people are doing. Occasionally, I pass my comments and everything. But beyond that, I did my due.
I was having a conversation with
Okay.
myself. Looking at where we are right now, you might not be aware, but looking at where we are right now, especially in business and in service, in community service, and when building legacy, social media is becoming like the real world. Reason because um, you can reach more people. You mentioned that by the end of this year, you paid reaching 6,000 people. And I believe that if we leverage much more social
No,
media, we can.
not end of this year. Oh,
Okay.
when I'm 60. So we still have 6 more years to go.
Oh, okay. So that's exactly what I was
Well,
trying
but
to
maybe
say.
that can happen before then. Oh. So I mean, with
Yeah,
with with
that's
social media, yeah, yeah.
so
So maybe
saying
not.
that with
We don't
social
have to wait
media.
6 years. Yeah.
Yeah. So with social media, I'm thinking we can reach 6,000 people by the end of this year. And perhaps when you're 60, we can reach 60,000 people and just cap it on 60,000 people. I think that is possible if we leverage on social media. So the last question I will ask, because I'm looking at time and I don't want to shoot beyond the time, we have decided to give me. Do you believe that no matter where anyone is in life, great or small, they still need help. No matter the money
Yeah.
you have, the influence you have, they still need help. So, if yes, where do you think you need help right now? If you get a sincere person, trustworthy, like you mentioned, hardworking, we need help.
Okay. So everybody needs help. It's not only the young ones. And I have found out that my third book is actually based on this. I call it Sabificate, the power of connectional
Yeah.
intelligence. You would need help through your network because if you need money, it's your network that will point you in the direction. The power of connectional intelligence. So, irrespective of whatever you need in life, I mean, wherever you are, one thing I found out that everybody needs is the power of your network
Yeah.
because that's what would make that will be the game changer anytime, any day. You can have your money, you want to do your business. If you don't have the network, you cannot do it. You want to move your career, you want to travel. Let me give an instance. My daughter, who is currently serving, I because she studied international relations, it's either Abuja or Lagos. And I said, look, I don't want to influence your posting or anything. And people are saying they are paying to influence it. And I just mentioned it to someone. I said, this is what is happening, but I don't have money to pay for anybody's posting. And before I knew it, the person just sent me and said, oh, she should check her portal now. And lo and behold, she got what she wanted. It's the
Wow.
power of your network without paying any dime. And I can say that about so many things. So even in the seemingly little thing that you say, for anybody to grow, you must build your network. It's a relationship thing. If I want to, for example, get to Mr. President, I don't have access to him directly, but I will know somebody that would know someone that would know someone that will get to him. And so anything you want to do as a young person, build your network. Don't be selfish and only build because you want to get, because you will also be that network for another person. But let that be at the back of your mind that as you're building, as you're knowing, as you're giving, it's going to be replicated. So my advice to anybody is build your network. Waiting you sabi is important, but the people where you sabi is more important. So I jokingly say it is not your certificate, but your certificate, who you
Oh,
sabi
now
and
I
who you
get. Now
sabi.
I get.
That is your certificate. Right. And that's
Now
the
I get.
title of my new book, Certificates, the power of connectional intelligence. And so that's what I will leave with you. Be good to people,
All right.
support, and build your network, because they say your network is your net worth.
Thank you so much. I would love to end it here. But one last question I want to ask. If you never joined JCI, would you be where you are right now? And what is your superpower?
Let me
If
start from superpower.
nothing is working, what will you do?
So, my superpower is God. I am absolutely
Yeah.
nothing without Him. And there's nothing I do that I don't bring Him in. So I have this habit. I call it, I command
Okay.
my day. I command my morning. Anytime I wake
Yeah.
up, I speak into my day as I want my day to
Wow.
be. And 100% of the time, as I speak into my day, so it is. And I believe that is the power of grace, because it's not me, it's the power of grace of God
Yeah.
upon my life. If I wasn't a JCI member, 10
Yeah.
things, and that's what I'll leave with you, 10 things that would have influenced my life to be who I am is what I
Okay.
call the 10 greats of all time. And I picked it up from Jim Collins, 10 good to great. And I call it, for me personally, I call it my 10 greats of all times.
Wow.
So I need to think great thoughts. That's the first one. So when you think great thoughts, it defines who you are. When
Yeah.
you read great books, it
Mm.
defines who you are. When you pursue great people, it defines who you are. When you dream great dreams, it helps define who you are. When you pray great prayers,
Wow.
it defines who you are. When you make great sacrifices, like when you deny yourself, delayed gratification, that is making
Yeah.
great sacrifices. So when you make great sacrifices, it defines who you are. When you have to read through the night, when you have to go back and do your PhD, and it's not convenient, but when you make great sacrifices, it defines who you are. When you enjoy great moments, life no hard. Relax, enjoy great
Relax.
moments. Take time out, spoil yourself.
Yeah.
It defines who you are. When you develop great habits, like the one I said, when I command my morning, you ensure you have
Yeah.
great habits. It defines who you are. When you empower people to be great, so it's not about the money
Mm.
that you have in your locality. Everyone who's worked with me, my house helps, they don't go back the same way. I must
Mm.
empower you. When you are leaving me, you must be able to, whether you are going to learn sewing, whether you are learning hairdressing, whether my driver, and I say this with all sense of humility, I once had a who, when I checked, he had a good school start result. I encouraged him to go back to university. He's a graduate today. So you must
Wow.
empower people to be great. In life, it's not about your children, your biological children. You must empower people around you. And then lastly, you must cherish great relationships. Because
Mm.
when you cherish, when your friend knows you got their back, when you're loyal,
Yeah.
they will be loyal to you. I have this saying, you cannot treat me like a pinch of salt and you expect me to carry you like a bag of rice. Kojo, it can't
Mm.
happen. But when you carry me like a bag of rice, I will
Mm.
carry you like 10 tons of cement too. And that's how life is. So you must cherish great relationship. So if I didn't do JCI, these 10 great principles of good great are the things that I would use in my life. Unfortunately, when I look back at it all still reflects into JCI too. So these
Exactly.
10 great principles I also played out in JCI. So I think they're all interwoven. And I think and particularly bless God, for the opportunity of having JCI in my life. I've encouraged my children, and I know a few of them have had JCI interactions, but I cannot force it on them. It's their
Yeah.
choice, and they have the power of choice to decide whether they want to be JCI members or not. Thank you very much,
Thank
Timmy.
you so
It's
much.
been a very,
Thank you
very,
so
very
much.
interesting few minutes. The time has gone. We've practically spent almost an hour,
Yeah.
in this and that. And I thank you. And for also helping me to do some reflection, because, these questions have come on, even though some have been impromptu, but it also helped me to reflect on how my life journey is and how the next few years. I don't know how long I have to live, but I believe and I trust and I pray to God that I live long and that I'm able to even still do much more than I have done in the past.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. For me, I I've been blessed in this 1 hour because you altered some things and you gave me a better perspective about life. And I'm really grateful. I would love to have you on board again, maybe later. I want to say a big thank you to you, and I want to
Thank you.
appreciate you for making it easy for me to communicate with you. Because when Senator, Chielu sent your proof, mentioned you, I felt, oh, this is going to be hard because looking at because she mentioned some things to me. So I thought, why not just give me somebody that I can easily interact with? But when I message you, you made me feel welcome. And the fact that every time I message you, you mention my name. I felt that was intentional because, it just feels like I'm closer to you than I even thought I was. So thank you so much. I really appreciate it. Thank you for your story. I would love to be part of
Thank
your story anyways. I believe so much in
You're
everything
already
you
part of my
represent.
story, Tammy. You're already part of it. And you're also
So
part of
thank you
my
so
story,
much.
like I said. When you become that, big guy there,
Yeah.
as you're shining your shine, I know that, yes, I can be part of that shine and claim you.
Yeah. Thank you so much, man. I will end this here.
Thank you.
Then we can have conversations later. And
Thank
because I also want to make sure that we download this, the thing will cut it into shorts. If your Instagram is not on, I would like to maybe help put it up so that we can collaborate with you, have some things on social media platform to spice it up. Then if you want to take it further, we can look at how we can do that. Thank you so much. All your programs
Definitely.
this year, please, they have to be recorded and put on social media. I'm begging you, all your programs should be recorded and posted on social media. There are more people that wants to hear this story than I just feel that more people should hear this story and should learn from your wealth of experience and exposure. Thank you
Thank
so much,
you.
man. I really appreciate it.
Thank you, Tim. Thank you for having me. Thank you. I
All
wish
right.
everybody a lovely, lovely, lovely day, week, and month and year ahead. Thank
All
you.
right, man.